Not India. These are Pakistan's 5 real enemies. The untold story of Pakistan's collapse. Imagine a country that is declaring war to the world, boasting about its strength, but internally its foundations have become so hollow that even a slight push could uproot it completely. On Thursday, after an emergency meeting chaired by Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, several tough measures against India were announced: suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty, suspension of the Shimla Agreement, complete halt of trade with India, expulsion of Indian diplomats, and closure of airspace for Indian airlines. For a moment, it seemed Pakistan was about to make a major move. But the reality that has emerged is far more frightening. Pakistan's biggest enemy is not India. The real enemies are the venomous snakes hissing within its own house: a crumbling economy, depleting foreign currency reserves, skyrocketing debt, dependency on the IMF, the crisis of declining American aid, and deep political instability. Today, we will explore this topic in depth. But before we begin, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you get the latest updates on our videos first. Now, let's start peeling back the layers of this devastation one by one. First, let's talk about Pakistan's foreign currency reserves, which have now reached an extremely dangerous level. Data from the State Bank of Pakistan shows that in the first week of March, there was a decline of over $150 million in Pakistan's forex reserves. And the reason? Heavy repayments, meaning the loans that were taken earlier now have to be repaid, but there's no arrangement for new borrowing. This sharp decline has not only broken the backbone of Pakistan's economy but has also destroyed its credibility in international markets. This raises a serious question. In such a situation, why would Pakistan want to wage war and effectively strike an axe at its own feet? But the story doesn't end here. The biggest financial hammer hanging over Pakistan's head is its external debt. According to fresh data from 𝐮𝐸𝐿, by December 2024, Pakistan's external loan had reached a record level of $131 billion. Just imagine, a country with a tottering GDP has to repay over $100 billion of debt within the next 4 years. Pakistan's Minister of State for Finance, Ali Pervez Malik, himself admitted this alarming reality during a session in the National Assembly. Now, even if Pakistan's governments change, escaping this colossal debt burden would be nothing short of a miracle. And war? In such a condition, starting a war would be nothing less than committing suicide. A glance at the IMF bailout also tells you enough about Pakistan's grim condition. Last September, the IMF approved a $7 billion loan package for Pakistan. But this loan didn't come easily. It was structured to be disbursed in 37 installments, with each tranche tied to strict economic reform conditions. And most importantly, the IMF clearly warned that Pakistan's economic vulnerabilities, policy instability, and structural issues were so deep that without comprehensive reforms, the country would not be able to stabilize itself. In simple terms, Pakistan is being given oxygen through repeated loans, but its economic health is continuously deteriorating, remaining on a ventilator. And if you think that the IMF might somehow save Pakistan, just take a look at the chapter on American aid. During Donald Trump's tenure, the US suspended most of the major foreign assistance being given to Pakistan. Most of the funding through the State Department and USAID was halted. And this wasn't just a temporary freeze. It was backed by a larger strategic intention to pressure Pakistan over its lax handling of terrorism. Even after a 90-day review period, no green light was given. The result, Pakistan lost a critical lifeline, the steady supply of dollars that used to soothe its wounds during every crisis. And even today, it continues to wander from door to door, desperately trying to bridge that widening gap. Pakistan's problem is not just economic or diplomatic. The real root lies within its own decaying political system. In its 75-year history, Pakistan has never allowed a single prime minister to complete a full term. Every few years, due to allegations of corruption, military coups, or internal political conflicts, prime ministers are forced out of office. The example of Imran Khan is fresh. His tenure was cut short after just 3 years and 7 months. This persistent instability has created a vicious cycle in which Pakistan remains trapped, with no visible way out. Now, when a country's economy is weak, debt is mounting, international aid is drying up, and political instability is at its peak, can such a country wage a war? The answer is yes, it can wage a war, but it cannot win one. Because on the battlefield, morale, a strong economy, and stable leadership are more important than just guns, and unfortunately, today Pakistan is severely lacking in all three. Whatever little hope was left in Pakistan has now been swallowed up by internal conflicts and the growing strongholds of terrorism. The situation linked to Afghanistan, the ongoing insurgency in Balochistan, and the dominance of criminal gangs in Sindh and Karachi all together have created a deadly cocktail for Pakistan. And when there are so many enemies inside the house, fighting an external enemy becomes almost impossible. The steps Pakistan has taken against India, suspending the Indus Waters Treaty, terminating the Shimla Agreement, halting trade and diplomatic relations, could end up creating a much bigger crisis. These steps are not as damaging for India as they are for Pakistan itself. A major portion of the Indus River's flow is controlled by India, and Pakistan's agriculture is heavily dependent on it. If water supplies are disrupted, a food crisis could loom, and a nation grappling with hunger cannot win a war. The international community is also growing increasingly concerned about Pakistan's situation. Recent reports suggest that institutions like the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank have raised serious questions about Pakistan's economic policies and have made new funding conditional. This means even the doors to borrowing are slowly closing. And the countries from which Pakistan traditionally sought help, like China and the Gulf nations, now want returns on their investments, not handouts. In the end, the biggest question arises. Is Pakistan even aware of who its real enemies are? Or is it still living under the illusion that India is its primary enemy? Because the truth is, if Pakistan faces any real threat today, it's not from India's armies or policies, but from its own crumbling economy, unstable politics, collapsing foreign relations, and hollow diplomacy.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.